70% of business partnerships collapse within 5 years. The failure rate for 50-50 splits is even worse. And here is what makes that number devastating. Most of those partners started as best friends, college roommates, brothers. They shook hands over beers and said, "We will split everything down the middle." That is fair. 3 years later, they are splitting lawyers. Derek learned this the hard way. 38 years old, co-founder of a property management software company in Denver. Married, second kid on the way, and locked in a 4-month deadlock with his business partner over a single hiring decision. Neither could override the other. The business bled $40,000 in missed opportunity, while 2 grown men sat in silence across a conference table, waiting for the other to blink. What Derek did not know, what almost nobody knows, is that Jewish commercial law solved this exact problem 3,000 years ago. And by the end of this video, you will know the one clause Solomon would have put in Derek's operating agreement that would have ended that deadlock in 72 hours. Here is the diagnosis, and it is structural. A 50-50 partnership does not create equality. It creates permanent deadlock disguised as fairness. 2 votes on every decision. No tiebreaker. No final authority. According to data from the Small Business Administration, partnership disputes are among the top 3 reasons small businesses dissolve. And the equal split model carries the highest internal pressure because it produces exactly 0 natural authority. The ancient Jewish merchants understood this. They developed a body of commercial law called Shutafut, from the Hebrew root meaning shared partnership. And embedded inside Shutafut was a principle that modern contract lawyers still have not caught up to. Every functional partnership requires not 2 seats at the table, but 3. But here is the part most people never learn about those 3 seats. And the third one is the reason Jewish commercial partnerships survived for centuries, while their competitors collapsed in a single generation. Proverbs 29. Verse 18, where there is no vision, the people perish. Read that word again. Perish. Not struggle. Not slow down. Perish. Solomon is not giving motivational advice. He is describing a structural failure. When no single person holds the long view, the organization dies. This is the first seat in Solomon's framework, the architect's seat. One partner must hold strategic authority, the vision, the direction, the final say on where the company is going. When Solomon negotiated his most famous joint venture with King Hiram of Tyre, documented in 1 Kings chapter 5, the arrangement was not equal. Solomon held the architect's seat. He determined what was being built, where it was going, and why it mattered. Hiram did not get a vote on the temple's design, and Hiram was fine with that, because he had his own seat. Now think about Derek in Denver. His operating agreement said, equal partners, equal authority. All major decisions made jointly, on paper, that looked like respect. In practice, it meant every strategic question, hire a developer or invest in marketing, expand to a new city or consolidate, required 2 people to agree completely. And when 2 people with equal authority disagree on direction, the company does not move. It just bleeds. Research from Harvard Business School professor Noam Wasserman, who studied over 10,000 founders, confirms that teams who split equity equally are significantly less likely to make efficient strategic decisions than teams with a clear lead founder. The data does not suggest equal splits are risky. The data says they are structurally slower. And here is the uncomfortable truth. Being fair to your partner might be the most unfair thing you can do to your company. Ecclesiastes 10, verse 18. Through sloth, the roof sinks in, and through indolence, the house leaks. Solomon is not talking about laziness here. He is talking about what happens when the person responsible for execution cannot execute. When the builder has no autonomy to build. This is the second seat, the builder's seat. One partner must hold operational authority, the how, the daily decisions, the right to move without asking permission on every invoice, every vendor call, every personnel decision within their domain. Back to Solomon and Hiram. Hiram supplied cedar and cypress timber. Solomon supplied wheat and olive oil. Each partner delivered what only they could deliver. Solomon did not tell Hiram how to cut the trees. Hiram did not tell Solomon how to harvest the grain. 2 lanes, 0 overlap. Derek's partnership had no lanes. Both partners believed they had authority over everything. So when Derek wanted to hire a junior developer at $65,000, his partner blocked it, not because the hire was bad, but because he wanted the budget allocated to a marketing agency. Instead, neither had designated authority over hiring versus marketing spend. The operating agreement treated every dollar as a joint decision. That is not a partnership. That is a hostage negotiation with a shared bank account. If you have ever sat in a meeting where you knew the right move, had the expertise, and still could not act because your partner had the same number of votes you did. Solomon wrote the solution to that problem 3,000 years ago, and it is the third seat. Proverbs 18, verses 17. The one who states his case first seems right, until the other comes and examines him. This is the verse that should be printed on the first page of every operating agreement in America. Solomon is describing the fundamental problem with bilateral negotiation. Both sides believe they are right. Both sides have evidence, and without a third party to examine the case, both sides harden into permanent opposition. This is the third seat, the judge's seat. In traditional Jewish commercial law, partners formally agreed to submit unresolvable disputes to a Beth Din, an external court of arbitration. Before the partnership made its first dollar, this was not optional fine print. In the Shutafut framework, agreeing to external arbitration was considered a fundamental act of commercial integrity. And here is the practical number that should change how you think about this. According to the American Arbitration Association, the average commercial litigation case in the United States costs between $75,000 and $200,000 and takes 12 to 18 months to resolve. Binding arbitration, typically a fraction of that cost, and resolved in 60 to 90 days. Derek's deadlock lasted 4 months. By the time he hired a lawyer, the legal fees alone consumed $40,000, almost exactly what the developer hire would have cost. He paid the price of the decision to avoid making the decision. Derek eventually restructured his partnership. But what he changed was not the equity, it was one clause. And that single clause is something you can add to your own agreement this week. Here are the 4 moves. The third one is the one most lawyers leave out, and it is the most important. Move 1. Accept asymmetry. 51-49. That single percentage point is not about ego. It is your constitutional tiebreaker. One partner holds the architect's seat with final strategic authority. The other holds the builder's seat with full operational autonomy. Write it into your articles of organization. Move 2. Map
So
every
if we
decision
align
category,
John with
financial,
the financial oversight,
operational,
and Maria
personnel,
handles
strategic,
operations,
and assign
we
each
should
one
see
to exactly one
improvement by
partner,
Q3.
not jointly, not, we will figure it out as we go. One owner per domain. If a third party can read your agreement and know who decides what without calling either partner, the structure is right. Move 3. Name your judge before you need one. Write into the contract the name or the selection process. For a binding arbitrator, this person must be respected by both partners, must have zero financial stake in the outcome, and their decision must carry contractual authority. Not a recommendation, not mediation. Binding. Derek added this clause after his crisis. The ancient merchants built it in before day 1. Move 4. Calendar, an annual seat check,
by the end of the
not
week.
to renegotiate equity,
Okay,
but to confirm
I
that
agree with
roles and
that
authorities
timeline.
still match how the business
We should
actually
update
operates.
the board.
Companies change. The
This is
structure
final
has to
section
keep
right
up.
here.
Here is a scenario you might
I'm
recognize.
signing the operating agreement now.
You and your spouse open an LLC for a rental property. You split it 50-50 because that seems obvious. You are married, after all. Then the market shifts.
Look
One
at
of you
this
wants to
spike.
sell,
We should
the other
invest
wants to
now.
hold. Suddenly,
But the
a business
projections
decision
here say
becomes a marriage
otherwise.
problem.
It's too risky.
The 3-seat structure prevents that. The architect
structural
holds
integrity on
strategic
level 4
calls
looks
on the
good.
property.
Congratulations. Welcome to the
The
building.
builder manages
Thank you so
tenants
much. They're
and
beautiful.
maintenance. And if you deadlock, the judge, maybe your accountant, maybe a trusted advisor, resolves it before resentment enters the house. This is not just for startups. This is for anyone who has ever shared an asset, a business, or a decision with another human being. Before this week is over, open your partnership agreement. Or if you do not have one yet, open a blank document. Write 3 headings: the architect's seat, the builder's seat, the judge's seat. Under each one, write who holds it and what decisions belong to them. That single page is more protective than 90% of operating agreements filed in this country. If someone you know is about to enter a business partnership or sitting inside one that has no tiebreaker, send them this video. Not because
I'm
it
so
is
glad we
interesting,
could finally make this happen.
because
Me
it might
too.
save them
Cheers to a
$100,000
great
in legal
partnership.
fees and a friendship that took 20 years to build. Next video. We are going inside Solomon's 4-vault treasury system, the exact method ancient merchants used to separate personal wealth from business capital so that one bad quarter could never destroy a family's financial foundation. Subscribe so you do not miss it. Disclaimer: educational content only, not financial or legal advice. We explore ancient texts as financial literature, not religious instruction. Consult a licensed attorney for your specific partnership situation.